Forecast and Instructions from Jesus, Part 6. Pray for wisdom and protection. How to survive the tribulation? There is only little time left. God's protection and provision during the tribulation. Excerpt of the Lord's message to Clare, How to Survive the Tribulation, from November 7th, 2015. Jesus began, "In all of history, there will never again, nor has there ever been before, a time such as this. Men will be at their wits' end, trying to figure out what to do next. Nothing will make sense to them, and everything will be topsy-turvy. I'm trying to prepare now those who will be left behind. There is no sense to accumulating wealth, position, or power, because everything will be scrambled and reorganized based on loyalty to the New World Order. Any Christian right now that is posturing for higher positions is going to hit a brick wall after the rapture. There is no need to be alarmed, just informed. Those who are left behind will have to switch their priorities from making money to surviving. And I don't mean surviving physically, alone. Yes, survival must also be spiritual, understanding and being sensitive to the movement of my spirit. It is by my spirit alone that protection will be rendered to those left behind. Nothing of man's design will bring peace for families. Only my ability to save and protect will be found effective. Witness Ruby Rich. My dear ones left behind, you cannot count on guns to protect you. You must turn wholeheartedly to me and ask for my protection. I will protect you supernaturally if I'm your only recourse. Those who live by the sword will die by the sword. But I have prepared an army of men and women to recover this country from the enemy. They will swing into action and have an active part in taking ground away from the order. Never since the history of man has there been a time such as what is coming, and never since the history of man has my protection been as strong as it will be. But there are certain rules you must live by. Honesty is first and foremost. Vigilance over your own sins and bad example. The devils are clever, and they know how to provoke a soul to cause a breach in their covering. Charity, humility, and patience also score high on the list of things targeted and necessary to maintain my protection. Come to me immediately when you fall. Don't waste a moment. Make a sincere confession and renounce that sin. I will then restore your covering and add to it protection, and the grace to not repeat those sins. I have already taught you about judging others. The quickest way to lose your covering is to slander, calumniate, or gossip about another. Not only will the enemy use this to divide and conquer, he will use it to make you vulnerable to attack. The more key your position is, the more careful you will have to be about your heart attitude. Never disparage anyone who is sick or weak. Their prayers are essential and extremely important. Your emotions will be your worst enemy. Sleep will be very important because of the stress you are under. It will quickly deplete your clarity of thinking and energy. This will be a time of survival techniques, especially spiritual survival techniques. Prayer and charity will increase your chances of survival, and prayer will be your number one most powerful weapon. The enemy is very sly, and he will insinuate many things to turn you against each other. Sitting down and talking it out candidly, honestly, will completely foil his attempts to turn each of you against another. There will be much need for patience and deferring anger. There is always a reason behind a failure, and it is always a test of virtue for you to bear it with charity and brotherly love. Remember, you will be judged as you judge one another. If you want mercy, you must first mete out mercy. You may see yourself as superior in the mix, but I guarantee that will be your downfall. Somehow, beloved, you must cultivate extreme respect for one another. It may look to you that another is inferior to you, but I look upon the heart, and he who loves more is superior in my viewpoint. You may excel at many things, but if you have not charity, well, that will only buy you pride and vainglory. There are souls that are so entirely kindly and well disposed that even the most brilliant and accomplished person is far inferior to them. This is no longer the world or worldly affairs you are dealing with. It is strictly spiritual, and our standards in heaven are so far removed from yours, they are unrecognizable. Rick Joyner's book brings to the forefront the importance of charity and true spiritual vision. And remember, none of you have absolutely perfect spiritual or scriptural understanding. Each person has a gift to add to the mix. Your task will be to find out and cultivate that gift and incorporate it. This will be a real trial of teamwork and differential yielding to one another. And how well you take care of the weakest link will determine your success or failure. Whenever you feel threatened, your first recourse is prayer. This should be your very first response. There will be many misinformation campaigns, as they always are in war, to turn attention away from what is really important. If you rely on me alone for your information, you will not fall for these sidetracks. There will also be attempts to flush out believers. Be very careful of those who say that they're going to make an alliance with you, but underneath is all they really want, to find out what your agendas are, so they can report you. Each person among you has a unique purpose. Try to discover that and nurture and honor it. Do not under any circumstances hinder a soul who is wanting to step forward and serve. Give them something to do, but do not deny them a job. That will seriously backfire on you. To feel needed, wanted, and important is key to keeping the peace. When all work together synchronistically, all will feel satisfied. When things seem to be falling apart, pray against the spirit of division. This will constantly be the enemy's course of action. Divide and conquer, or set someone up for failure and conquer. Be ever so supportive when one of you fails. Come to their rescue with warmth, security, and forgiveness. Reacting in anger will only empower the demons to cause dissent and dissatisfaction, which will gnaw away at the hearts of some until there is a strong current of mutiny and division. Never assume that something is good or a good opportunity. Always pray first and find out from me if it is something you should do. Remember the story of the Trojan horse. Everyone thought it was an amazing booty from their enemy, but once they pulled it inside the citadel, its true intention became clear as armed soldiers piled out and took the city by surprise. All in all, success can be had through this most difficult of times, but understand, I do not measure success by survival or prowess. My standard is love, and to die for me is gain. The Lord's message to Carol. You have only very little time left from May 11th, 2015. Jesus began, you must treat the time that you have now as a fleeting, precious commodity, given directly to you by me, not to be used as you would or to be given over to pleasure. gain, or anticipation of spoils from any selling product, marketplace, or business. These must become things of your past. I call all of you now to what I called my brides to before I brought them home: holiness, increased sanctification, yieldedness and obedience to me and the truth I have preserved for you in my scriptures. I have brought the great revival upon the earth one last time, and you have seen evidence of it. Do not reject the teachings that were spread abroad from it. Do not take lightly the words of truth and salvation that you have heard about. These words and truth are your very lifeline. The times you now live in will last only a mere 7 years from beginning to end. Depending on the time you find yourself in when you have found these words is a mightily important thing to you. Perhaps you have been fortunate to be among the first to hear of me just after the rapture. Perhaps you have been one of those who have received my spirit during the sweep of renewal that I brought upon the earth in one final move to gather in all souls who belong to me. If this is you, then you have indeed been blessed. But I tell you the truth, if you are only finding these admonitions 1 or 2 or even 3 years past that point, now is the time to accept these words that you have heard. Now is the time that you must seek me and be found by me, for you are running out of time to make this decision. At the midpoint of the 7 years, there will again be a massive shaking, a major upheaval in not only the physical world but the unseen spiritual one. After this point, the forces of evil will be so strongly arrayed that it will be nigh unto impossible to live any sort of normal life in any way. If you have not yet bowed your knee to the ruler Obama and the evil ones that rule below him, yes, I'm pinpointing who the Antichrist is to you. Surely you know by now that he has become the very symbol of evil on the earth to all who try to oppose him. Much death, much destruction, much disease, much harm has come to millions of souls who have tried to oppose him and have died for their stand against him. You have found my words to my servants Carol and Clare, who were among many others scattered throughout the world, spreading these messages to the world before I came, and took them home to be with me in heaven. You have yet a little time to make your final decision. You have been standing to the side, letting the enemy convince you that all is well, and they are better off rounded up and gotten out of the way of the real people. I tell you now, these are but lies of the destroyer of your soul. You must heed them no more. Time for you is rapidly running out. I have preserved pockets of my people all around the globe, safe places where those who I have gathered in live and prosper in health and food and the supply of their needs. Take my hand now and let me lead you to them. Turn your heart fully to me, and I will lead you there, where you may finish out this time in peace, truth, and real love. Love like you have never experienced or have by now long forgotten. Time is your enemy now, my child. You do not understand this fully now, but you will. Heed my words that are written here. You will not receive many more warnings with this much clarity. I work even now in your soul, your spirit, to convince you that these words are true and faithful, for they are spoken by the one who is faithful and true. Let me in, let me find you, save you, and carry you into the wilderness of safety and salvation, for my heart longs for you to join with me in my kingdom. Come, my dear friend, come, I wait for you, come. Jesus the Christ, the one who died on the cross for your soul, and now I am waiting with never-ending love for you to come to me. Excerpt of the Lord's message to Clare. How to stay under God's protection from March 5th, 2015. Jesus began, "All will change when I come for you. There will be searing conviction amongst the relatives and especially the children and spouses of those I take. I will go deep, deep into the depth of their hearts and divide bone and marrow. Then, as the purification of earth advances, more and more will have a passionate love for me and righteousness. It will blossom and overtake them on the way. Many will cease to care about living and be ready to die, to be with me. They will be envious of those who have been raptured, but not for the common motive of escaping suffering, rather for the burning fire of love they feel for me. Yet they will persevere in what is laid out before them. The more my children rely on me during this time, the more miracles they will see. The more they rely on their own flesh, the more in danger they will be. I operate best with total faith. It causes a vacuum that only I can fill, whereas providing for themselves will weaken my ability to intervene. More and more they are going to rely only on me. More and more things will become more desperate and they will have little choice. The sooner they come to terms with that, the better it will go for them. I will not give them over to defeat. Rather, I will be with them as I was with David when he fought Goliath. As they pore over the Old Testament, they will find example after example of battles where my people were outnumbered 10-1, and yet my right arm won them the victory. And as they confide their trust in me, I will bring it to pass. There will be traitors among them. They must learn to know one another by the Spirit. Many will attempt to join their ranks, but I warn them now, do not accept anyone I do not approve, no matter how dire or urgently they present their request. You see, they will use goodwill against them, to pry open the group. Then, because they are not of like mind, they will undermine everything that they do. Do not allow anyone into your ranks that I have not approved of. Use the system of lots, and pray Holy Spirit to choose. Put your confidence in your flesh and completely to death. Put your confidence in me, totally. I alone know the hearts and motives of men and women and even children. The devil is underhanded. He will use your goodness against you. Rely on me and not your own human reasoning. There will be times when you will look at each other and say, "We're going to die," and yet because you put your hope and trust in me, I will move on your behalf and rescue you. I will make you invisible to the enemy and fearful to the beasts that will be bent on destroying you. Remember always to use my name. There will be times when the enemy is combing the forest looking for you, and they will walk right over you and not even know it. I will make you invisible to them. There will be times when I will cause panic in the ranks of the enemy and completely turn them off your trail. I have many ways, my children, of saving you. Many, many ways. There will even be times when the ground will open up to hide you. Never give up trust in me and my love for you, for I will be with you. The power of the blood, plead my blood, the blood of Jesus cover and protect us. Make us invisible to the enemy. Those who are well equipped and prepared will have no advantage over those who have put their total trust in me. I will provide everything necessary. Only listen very carefully for my voice. There will be times when I will prompt you to do something that seems out of order, but it will be your salvation. Prayer will be your weapon, a weapon that no one and nothing can defeat. Pray in tongues. Much wisdom will infuse your minds and bypass your intellects, which have been trained in the thoughts of the world. My ways are not your ways. My ways are not the world's ways. Prayer will be your greatest weapon. Pray and listen very carefully. Expect me to instruct you, give you visions, answers, understanding. Expect it and learn to discern it early. The sooner you embrace this wisdom, the safer you will be. I will lead you and teach you the way you should go. Use the Bible for remas. Listen for scriptures that float into your mind. I will be speaking to you in so many ways. Only be alert and pay attention. Do not allow anything to escape your notice. I will send you signs and images to alert you of danger ahead. My children, I love you dearly, and if I could have taken you with your loved ones, I would have. But for your own reasons you resisted me. Now you must learn to open your hearts and minds to receive me without resistance, without doubt, in total trust. When it seems that nothing is going to work, say, Jesus, I trust in you. Say it over and over again. Visualize me as you say it to me, so it fills your inner man with confidence that I will act, and that spurs me on to act because of your faith in me. Remember, when you have no other recourse, you have me. Remember also that you with the Father, myself, and Holy Spirit are greater than any force on earth. You and I are a majority. There will be times when you see angels protecting you. I will open your eyes. Excerpt of the Lord's message to Clare. Who I can protect and who not. From March 5th, 2015. Jesus began. Humility, self-control, honesty, and charity are absolutely essential if you want me to walk with you. If you're used to leading and getting your own way, you won't do very well as a leader. If you're unsure of yourself and know that you need me more than ever, you will excel as a leader. My children, the ways of the world that you have learned are totally inappropriate here. I protect those who humble themselves before me. If you are prancing around proudly with all the answers, you are bound for destruction. I am counting on your breaking when you realize all you've been taught by friends and family has just come to pass before your very eyes. I'm counting on you face flat on the floor, begging forgiveness for your pride and arrogance. I'm laying the groundwork for you to survive the trials that are now at your door, both body and soul. If you humble yourself before me, I will most certainly be with you, even if you are in a long-standing habit of pride and arrogance, and are aware of your sin and want to be delivered. I will work with you, but if you insist on your own wisdom, I can do little for you. It is of the utmost importance that you put others before yourself. When I came into the world, I did not lord it over others. No, I bent the knee and humbled myself, washing the feet of my disciples. That is what the leader does. He or she looks after the interests of others. Some of you have come from very humble families and have seen what I'm talking about. Others will have a struggle because they did not have good examples. Don't let that discourage you. I'm dedicated to you and your makeover. I will not abandon you to your arrogance. Rather, I will instruct and lead you as you come to me, sincerely wanting to change. Much, even your survival and the survival of your loved ones, will depend on your total reliance on me and my ways. I will always provide a way out for those who have humbled themselves and relied on me. Though the mountains shake and the seas roar, I will be with you and never abandon you. You will know them by their love and humility. You will recognize those who are sincere by whether or not they are authentically humble. Anger, backbiting, strife, insisting on your ways, those are the ticket to defeat. Above all, preserve your souls by giving your life to me. The very first step in the ladder of humility that leads to heaven is recognizing you have failed with your life. You have sinned, you have hurt others, made foolish and immature decisions, and neglected those you owed respect and support to, and those who you should have listened to, you discounted, especially your elders. So having made a mess out of your life, you need to give it to me unconditionally. Lord, I have sinned and sinned and sinned. I am not worthy of you, but I beg your forgiveness. I repent of the selfish and arrogant life I have led. Forgive me. Wash me clean with your blood. Deliver me from the evil within. I want to be born again, fresh, new, and in your image. I give you my life unconditionally. Receive me, lead me, save me. Along with that, pray the Our Father I have taught and expect me to make immediate adjustments to your character. Learn of me, for I am meek and humble of heart. I have left you innumerable love letters. Read them, believe them, allow them to take root in your heart. There is no joy that is compared to knowing and loving me. This knowledge of me and my love for you, unworthy as you are, will sustain you through every trial. No matter what you go through, I will be there on your right, holding your hand, speaking to you, comforting you. Nothing can separate you from my love. Nothing. Not anything on the earth or above the earth, not aliens, not death, not even when you fall. Still, I'm by your side to pick you back up. Nothing can separate you from my love. So don't be afraid when you fail. Expect that you are going to make mistakes along the way. Expect that you will fail and know that I will lift you back up. Do not run when you fail, turn to me. Do not run away, rather run to me. I will take you into my arms in a full embrace and wipe away your tears. I do not condemn you. I am not a man that I should judge you. No, I love you. I know before you even fail that you will fail, and I already have a provision to raise you back up. Know, understand in full knowledge that I will never ever forsake you. Even when you cannot feel me, I'm there supporting you, ready to come to your aid, to forgive and restore. With this knowledge, I want you to go forward now in total reliance on me. From this day forth, your life is not your own, it is mine to cherish, guide, and bring to glory with me in heaven. Fear nothing, for I am with you always, and where I am, you too shall be. For I have gone ahead of you to prepare a place for you, a place uniquely your own, where we will be together forever. I am not a man that I should love you as a man. I am your God, and never will you find the limit to my love for you, because there is none. I am eternally yours, and you are now eternally mine. Excerpt of the Lord's message to Clare. Provision and instruction for the left behind from April 22nd, 2015. Jesus began, I want to talk to you tonight about spiritual growth. Much of what I've been doing with you all is about spiritual growth. Growing taller, filled out, more stable, well-grounded, ready for anything, because your reality is the spiritual dimension with me, not the earthly dimension, soon to be further immersed in chaos. Not realizing what is coming, people are still planning as if life will go on forever, just the way it is now. That is why they will be blindsided by what is about to take place. What I want for you, Clare, is to leave behind as much as you can, to elevate people out of that dimension of chaos, which is something only I can do with souls. You see, CERN, clones, and the ruling elite will make many very serious mistakes that will impact their hiding places among the rocks of the earth. Vaults of water and magma will open up on them with tragic consequences. They will cry out to those who engineered these spaces, I thought you said this could never happen. but all in vain, only to be swallowed up into the abyss. This indeed will be their just deserts. And so I counsel all to have nothing to do with these underground bases. They are not safe. And yet I will provide safe havens in the deserted areas, places with abundant water, natural caverns, and sufficient food. Just as the angels provided manna in the desert, so will I release to all sufficient sustenance. Many stores of food will never run out. Medical supplies and healing will also be sustained supernaturally by me. Many will come into a full-time healing ministry, tending to the sick and infirm, strengthening and giving comfort to those who have collapsed in fear, those on the edge of death, even some to be brought into the kingdom in the last moments of their lives. I have some wonderful things planned for this horrendous time. Many a wall will come crashing down upon the enemy because of prayer. I will supernaturally and literally move heaven and earth to protect the holy ones. Some will be martyred, some will survive, but all will be provided for. I will not abandon them to the will of their enemies. Yes, unsurpassed suffering will be witnessed, but also unsurpassed glory and the triumph of faith. There will be many sent from heaven as visitations to encourage and provide. My angels will be most solicitous for the welfare of the remnant I am shielding from the full force of my wrath. Listen carefully to the instructions I am imparting to you. Prayer will be your greatest weapon, and I will teach you how to pray. It will flow from within you, without any effort. So strong will my grace be among you. Prayer will well up from inside and overtake you in moments of fear and danger, and you will be kept safely hidden as well as have my peace. Many will betray each other, and only discernment by my Holy Spirit will alert you to who cannot be trusted. If you judge by outward standards, what is said, what they look like, how they act, if you judge by normal human standards, you will be fooled. You must rely on me to detect weak souls or those sent to find you out. Again, I want to say, this is for the left behind ones. This is not for those who will be raptured. It is important to have these things printed and easy to find. Lord, what about leaving supplies behind for our children? I have told you before, I have already provided for them. This would be an act of unbelief on your part. It would also be a powerful distraction. Can you trust me with them? Do you think after all these years of serving me, I will abandon your children? Is it not written that you will never see the children of the faithful begging for bread? I have powerful provisions for them, but because you can't see it, measure it, hold it, you don't believe. Your faith is flagging. Just as in days gone by when I supernaturally protected my people, so shall I protect those who must stay behind. There will be one among them who will be designated the leader, and to him or her I will give supernatural knowledge and wisdom. Protect this one who is critical to your mission. Let not the devils cause division, misunderstand, murmuring, and jealousy. Be on your guard against these poisons they will use to divide and scatter you all. Together you will survive. Separated you will face many dangers, without anyone to hold you up. Do not let them divide and conquer. Be smarter than the enemy. Walk in charity and humility, and you will have no problems. Walk in self-will, selfishness, suspicion, and rancor. It will be your demise. There will be many testings among the groups, many testings. Painful decisions to make, life or death decisions to make. I will give you peace when the decisions are the hardest. Use lots to help you determine a plan of action. I will be with you as I was with Israel in the desert. I will give you signs of my love, signs of danger, signs when you are going the wrong way. Be attentive, pay close attention to the signs I send you. If you suspect you have made a wrong decision, stop and pray it through. Better to wait on me than to move forward into a trap. There will be times to act and times to wait. It is in the times of waiting that trials will be the most difficult. Pray always, worship, and thank me for every safe moment of your journey, for every provision, for every time you evade the enemy. Use my name as a weapon of war, for you fight not against flesh and blood, but principalities in high places, and against evil rulers and authorities of the unseen world, against mighty powers in this dark world, and against evil spirits in the heavenly places. Ephesians 6:12. Now I want you all to remember how easy it is to fall into unbelief, to mistrust, to suspect, to be fearful. These are the weapons the enemy will use against you. Forewarned is forearmed. Now, my precious ones, cling to my instructions, for in them lies life and death. Be not afraid of what man does to your body, only your eternal soul. Do not compromise for the sake of your body, your children, your wife, or for any reason at all. I will be with you to deliver you from evil. Pray, deliver us from evil, frequently. It is a very powerful prayer. More in Part 7. Links to PDF and website below the video.